Good day, everyone. Ukrainian Crisis Media Center started its work, and the first topic for today is humanitarian mission of the city of Fontenay-sous-Bois. So I give the floor to Michel, who is the Deputy Mayor on International Cooperation, and also Patrick Roullet, President of the Association Friends of Brovary, and Larysa Vynogradova, who is the Deputy Mayor of Brovary. Dear colleagues, please take the floor. A good day, everyone. I'm very glad to be here today, and I represent Fontenay-sous-Bois, and we are situated in the Île-de-France. We have been cooperating with Brovary city, and we started our cooperation in 1986. Starting from 1976, many different events happened in Ukraine. First, we are speaking about 1986 Chernobyl. And starting from that time, Fontenay-sous-Bois started to invite children who suffered from Chernobyl catastrophe. And it was the first effort to help to Brovary from the part of the Fontenay-sous-Bois. We continue to support cooperation and friendly exchange between our cities, and we invited the children to Fontenay-sous-Bois, and we are very we try to help Ukraine in the hard situation, and we decided to help, taking into consideration that we have some means to provide assistance. That's why we decided to provide humanitarian help. And we use the means of association, and we have here head of this association, and here is also a representative of Brovary City Council, Larysa Vynogradova. We work in close cooperation with the city and help to get visas, and we help in transportation. And we also provide financial help to the organization Friends of Brovary in order them to provide some assistance in the city. This year, we provided assistance to kids whose parents suffered or were killed in the east of Ukraine, and we invited kids from Brovary to Fontenay-sous-Bois in April. And preparatory work took a lot of time. For 15 days, children from Brovary lived in the families of Fontenay-sous-Bois. It was their first visit to France. And we did everything possible in order that Ukrainian children were welcomed by the community of Fontenay-sous-Bois. And today we are here in the framework of the development of solidarity among people, and we want to find new ways of cooperation and also use some new ways And of course, it's great that friendship exists between our cities, but that would be wonderful if 30 or 40 towns and cities join us, because together we can do more. And now, before giving the floor to my colleague Larysa, and she is going to tell us about our cooperation And I understand that we are not government. We can't act on their behalf, but we can do what we can. And we thank Ukrainian Crisis Media Center that and together we can do a lot of good things that will help Ukraine. And I know that Ukraine has a great future, and I would say glory to Ukraine. Good day, everyone. Brovary city celebrate its birthday, and we invite delegates from the different cities and towns. And we continue cooperation with Fontenay-sous-Bois. Our cooperation is now for 29 years, and we cooperate in the sphere of culture, social sphere, education. In Brovary, during the last weekends, there was a delegation from Estonia, from from Krasnik town, Poland, and there was also a representative of Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, and we and the Brovary was decorated with a flag, the flag of Europe, the flag of dignity. And we have close ties with Fontenay-sous-Bois because we work not only at the level of our governments, not at the level of mayors. We work at the level of people and civil organizations. And we thank Council of Fontenay-sous-Bois and Friends of Brovary Association that during these hard times they support us with their humanitarian projects. And Michel Tabanou, Deputy Mayor, told us about it. They provided help and excursions to kids whose parents suffered because of ATO, and children and parents were able also to visit some interesting places in France. And now I want to give the floor to the president of the Association Friends of Brovary. But I would like to stress that we thank everyone who helped us to establish our friendship among Ukraine and France. And for us, it's very important that Brovary was recognized as a European city. And we also want to share this experience with other towns and cities. And in the future, we can not only cooperate in some small forms, but we can support at the level of governments, at the level of cities, the idea of mutual help in many different spheres. And this humanitarian mission that is going to be realized not only in our city, but also in other cities of Ukraine. And I would like to give the floor to the president of the Association Friends of Brovary. And he do everything possible to help Brovary, and he speaks with common people. he sees how the face of our country changed, and he can give his own estimates, and also his colleagues were invited to our city. There are 7 people now there in our city, and Patrick Roullet is going to tell us his ideas. Thank you for your invitation. For me, for our association, it's a great pleasure. And I want to support Michel, but I want to make stress on the activity of our association. Our association was created more than 25 years ago. We understood that it is necessary not only to develop friendship at the level of mayors and governments, but we should develop friendship among people. We wanted to make such connections, such cooperation, that it won't be only official visits, that common people should know each other. And we created our association and started our work. I also want to stress our activities of our association. We provided cultural exchanges, and this is not the topic of our discussion. We visited Brovary, and we analyzed this assistance that should be provided, especially to vulnerable people. We first didn't know how to act, and now we cooperate closely we develop cooperation. And we understand the possibilities of municipalities. They can't provide all the necessary things for cooperation, and we started to think how we can develop cooperation. And that's why we asked our friends to create an association with which we could work at place. in Brovary. And from that time, we cooperate closely with them. Fontenay-sous-Bois, first of all, we raise funds. We often take part in municipal events. We conduct charitable events, and we raise funds by selling different gifts and other things, and every cent goes to Brovary. And the main event that we held was the organization of a banquet, and many our colleagues are going to visit, and we conduct this event, and we hold this event, and this year they brought a lot of money to Brovary. And the association that is called Hope, it distributes funds or food that was bought for this money, and these products are distributed among vulnerable population. And for us, it's very pleasant to be here, and we want to look forward, and we have big plans for the future. Please, colleagues, introduce yourself and ask questions. Bogdan Kostyuk, Radio Liberty. What is the number of children who visited France this year? And what about the work with the ATO veterans? And the question to our French counterparts, do you plan to broaden your activity at the local communities and with other towns of your country? In Fontenay-sous-Bois, 5 children and a widow visited Fontenay-sous-Bois, and these were kids that are all these are kids whose parents suffered or were killed during ATO operation. Starting from May 2014, local government and civil society organizations tried to provide all that they can, all help they can provide to ATO servicemen and their families. We bought everything that we could: helmets, military boots, and we provided transportation to, and we have a program for demobilized servicemen, and we provide one-time help to them, assistance to them, and we pay one minimum salary, and we also asked transportation agencies to provide free transportation for ATO servicemen, and that ATO servicemen can get free medical assistance and also some compensations to ATO servicemen who were injured. And of course, that was great tragedy for our city when near the Balsova 3, our guys were killed, and their family, and one woman, she gave birth after her husband died in ATO area. And now we also provide land plots to ATO servicemen families. So all those questions, all those challenges, we try to face them, and we try to help people. I would like to stress the importance of communication and ties among our cities. And as to France, the issue is rather different. Now, I'm here not to tell you that Fontenay-sous-Bois is something superb. My role here is different. I would like that in France there would be 30, 40 or 50 towns like Fontenay-sous-Bois. And if government of France can't hear my don't want to understand this, we should do everything that they would hear us. And I would like to ask you for your help, and we, from our part, will mobilize all forces to join as many cities and towns as possible. And we will address to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in France in order to create an organization like yours to help cities and towns to cooperate, and to ask them to raise funds together. And if we count that the Association of Fontenay-sous-Bois could gather humanitarian help for 7 tons, if we had more cities who would join us, then you can multiply and think what would be the what would be this help. And it is also necessary to say that our help is not a one-time assistance. And I think that there shouldn't be Minsk 3. Minsk 1 and Minsk 2 are enough, and we should help each other and continue our cooperation. Dear colleagues, the time is over, and we thank our speakers, and the next briefing is going to be at 12:30.